Hello, Oracles. Well, we just got some information over the weekend about Giga Mexico and how that they're looking at breaking ground within a few months, but construction on the factory might take a little bit longer than expected. So we'll break down some of that timeline. We'll break down some of the stock movement today. Seems like we're basically going to be trading sideways until earnings on Wednesday. And then from there, we're probably going to see some movement may be significant in one way or the other, depending on what comes out for the numbers and how the market reacts to it. So we'll get into all of that in just a minute. All right, so to kick it off, looking at the charts, again, we've been kind of trading sideways in this range between, 180 and 191 to 192 here, and again, we've pushed up to this 200 level, but really have not broken out of this for over a month. So this consolidation is leading me to believe we are going to be seeing a breakout or a breakdown come Wednesday. Now, of course, it does not have to happen, but the RSI is pretty dead nuts right in the middle here, almost at 50 exactly. So realistically, we could go either direction. Now, we also have big tech earnings coming up. All of the earnings, this is earnings season. So we are going to be seeing a lot coming up. And then in 2 weeks, we are going to be getting the FOMC meeting that is going to determine whether we're going to be getting a rate pause or another 25 basis point hike. At this point, those are really the two main options that the market is pricing in. All right, so to break down the news coming out of Giga Mexico, Tesla Chan came out breaking Tesla's Giga Mexico construction is expected to be 12 to 15 months. Governor of Nuevo Leon, Samuel Garcia, interviews Millennium Television and Pedro Gamboa. 1. Initially, there was talk of breaking the Giga Shanghai construction record of 9 months, but Governor Garcia noted that it could take 12 to 15 months to complete the largest production plant. And 2, that is because of the large space required for the production line. 3, we are going to have a meeting and we're going to talk about the model they want. The next generation model that's going to be mass sold needs a full production line. So, again, going back to what vehicle is going to be produced out of there, obviously they talked about the next generation platform. We were thinking, could it be the robotaxi? Could it be the compact car? A mass sold vehicle tells me this is definitely confirming this is the compact car that is going to be coming out of Giga Mexico first. 4, they are waiting for the final rendering from factory to make necessary adjustments. 5, Giga Mexico will be the largest factory in the world and bigger than the Texas plant. Now, there were rumors going around stating this before, and here they are now basically being confirmed. And 6, Nuevo Leon receives more than 70% of nearshoring nationwide, with hundreds of Tesla related suppliers approaching economic boom. So, this, of course, is awesome news for Mexico. We knew that bringing up a factory for Tesla down there was going to be great for the country itself, especially in the Nuevo Leon area. So, this is going to be big, but sounds like, maybe they're being a little more realistic with the timelines. We know that Tom Jua had come out and said that he wanted it to be done in 9 months. So now we're looking at somewhere between 9 and 15 months. Chances are it's probably going to be between that 12 and 15-month mark. Still extremely fast for a factory of this size to be up and running. But if we're going to be pushing that off now, saying that if the factory is going to be breaking ground for production in June, push that off 12 to 15 months. That means that sometime next year, most likely in Q3, maybe Q4, they will be done with construction and then we can start production. So, with that said, with that delay right there, when we were talking about volume production of this compact car potentially hitting end of 2024, early 2025, this almost guarantees that we will not see volume production on this vehicle until 2025. Obviously, there's still a long way between now and then, but based upon this new information, seems like realistically we will see production coming out of there in 2024, but probably not getting to volume production until 2025 at the earliest. And now, just as a reminder as well, it sounds like out of Giga Mexico, they're looking to be producing 4 million vehicles per year out of that factory. So that is for that compact car, which again, we've been talking about being mass production with the new production layout that they're having, what they went over in Master Plan Part 3. Looks like with the size of this factory and what they plan on doing, this is going to be a 4 million vehicle per year factory. So that's going to be massive. And again, we will have to wait and see. And it's not like it's going to hit the ground running like that, but that is the plan of it going forward. Now, in some other news, Sawyer Merritt tweets out, News, Tesla has announced that they've started hiring for their new upcoming Megapack factory in Shanghai. The factory is expected to produce up to 10,000 megapacks annually, generating over $20 billion in revenue per year and help the world transition to a sustainable energy economy. And in the notes here it says, on April 9th, Tesla's energy storage super factory project officially landed in Shanghai. The project is scheduled to start in the third quarter of 2023. It will be officially put into operation in the second quarter of 2024, and its supply scope will be expanded to the global market. So, again, if you just start putting the fundamental pieces all together, remove the stock price movement out altogether itself, because a lot of that is based upon what's going on with the macro environment. Tesla coming down on their prices may end up moving the stock price and keeping it kind of flat for a couple of years. But eventually, all of this fundamental stuff that we're hearing about will come to fruition and it will move that stock price going forward. Eventually hit that very bottom line, and the market's not going to price in any excitement, any euphoria. It's literally just going to follow strictly on earnings. So the more money Tesla earns, the higher the stock price is going to go. Well, eventually Tesla will stop coming down on their prices of the vehicles. You'll have more energy coming out. FSD will get solved. More people will end up purchasing FSD as well. That is going to bring in more revenue. That's going to bring in more bottom line dollars. That's going to bring up EPS. And in turn, that will bring up the stock price. So when we talk about the fundamentals winning in the long term, that's exactly what we mean. Eventually, you're going to hit a point where Tesla's going to continue making money hand over fist. And once the market has finally priced in what they want for a PE ratio, it's only going to grow from there. It will look very similar to how Apple grew over the last decade. It will grow very significantly, but it'll grow in a much smoother manner than we saw in the last 3 years with the giant euphoric run and then the crash down last year. So, this is what we can look forward to in the future, especially now that they have investor grade rating for both Moody's and the S&P. A lot more institutions are going to be getting into Tesla. That's also going to flatten out the volatility. This is just what we're going to be seeing over the next couple of years, most likely. But when we start paying attention to the fact that 2024, they're going to have Giga Mexico finished and start production and sales on their new compact car. You're going to be having megapacks coming out of Shanghai as well as over in Lathrop. So between these two, you're going to be pushing out a lot of energy, a lot more vehicles. The Cybertruck is going to be out. That, according to Kathy Wood, is going to be the sleeper of vehicles when it comes to the light duty truck market, because that's going to change the entire face of the truck market itself. That's going to push forward. The semi is going to start coming up. That's also pretty quiet right now. And then once we get into 2025, FSD potentially being solved and with regulations coming out. And even if it's not here in the US, China might have it over there. So lots of huge pieces coming in for Tesla. So when you start looking at the fact that worst case scenario, we end up having the stock price stay flat for a couple of years because the market is just kind of pricing in uncertainty with the market and Tesla coming down on vehicle prices. Eventually, those prices stop coming down and may start going up again a little bit as the economy recovers itself. That is going to be the huge game changer right there. So that could be coming in that 2025 to 2026 timeframe. And that right now is what I'm looking at. Very similar to what we saw between 2017 and 2020, where the stock price was kind of flat with uncertainty with the Model 3. That could be very much what we're seeing right now. A lot of us look back to that time frame between 2017 and 2020. That's the time a lot of us would have loved to buy the stock because that's when it was suppressed for unrealistic reasons. Now, back then, there was also concerns about potential bankruptcy. So, yeah, sure, people were legitimately scared. That is not a concern right now. So, to have an opportunity like this right now is huge. And to reiterate this, as Gary Black tweets out, an institutional portfolio manager and long term Tesla shareholder who I respect offers this perspective, which I agree with. Long term, the $25,000 EV gets Tesla where it needs to be on affordability. In the near term, Tesla learned from their China experience to use discounts to control inventories and drive volumes. Deliveries over just the past 2 quarters are up just 34% year over year, despite massive price cuts. The net effect will be margin compression short term, but long term margin accretion once the $25,000 EV is launched. So again, that doesn't even factor in energy or FSD, but just the vehicle side of the market alone. Once that $25,000 vehicle comes out, that total addressable market expands exponentially. So yes, we have been talking about how they've been coming down on prices on their vehicles, so that should be bringing up the total addressable market, but it wasn't a significant jump like we have seen with a $25,000 vehicle coming out. The prices of their vehicles, the average price is still over $40,000. That's still relatively high to a lot of people. When you put a mass produced vehicle down in that $25,000 range, that is where you start hitting that massive volume. That's where you're going to start seeing the big difference, especially if with that vehicle, Tesla can be pushing out 20 to 25% margins. That is where the game changer happens. That coming in 2025 to 2026 is going to be the big deal. That is why I am saying looking at the stock price trading sideways between now and then is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. I know it's frustrating for a lot of people out there. I know we want to see the stock go to the moon. You've just got to be patient. As Warren Buffett always says, the stock market is a transfer of wealth from the impatient to the patient. Those who are patient are going to win the day. So, not financial advice, but please just make sure you're paying attention to the fundamentals and not letting your emotions make your trades for you. So, if you're doing any buying or selling of any stocks, Tesla included, just make sure you're paying attention to what the fundamentals are and you're doing what's best for your portfolio and not just trading with emotions. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Tomorrow night, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing a live stream or not. Again, on Wednesday, we've got the earnings that are coming out. Very exciting. Very much looking forward to that. Over on Brian's channel, My Tesla Weekend, he's going to be doing a live stream for the actual release of the numbers. I will not be home at that time, but I will be home and I will have Brian on here for the earnings call. Before the show, we will end up coming on here. We will discuss all of the numbers as well. And then we'll listen to the earnings call to see what else they have to say. And then, of course, we will do a recap afterwards also. So, otherwise, that's all I've got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. Have a great one.